Eno ye Salam TV. Eno ye Salam TV. Eno ye Salam TV.
Omuwuliriza wa Salam TV omulabi waffe omulungi tusanyuse okuba nti nno otweyunzeko mu kaseera kano osiibye otya neeyo gy'oli amannya nanteza Nadia Malka okuva ku Hijaz Finance. Hijaz Finance kitongole kya byansimbi nga kitambula n'amateeka agakwasa ebyensimbi mu busiraamu kiyite Quran, Sunna ne Hadith ez'enjawulo okuva ku mbaka sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Olwaleero twagala tumanye oba omulamwa gwa leero guli ku obusiraamu oba ebyensimbi mu busiraamu binaayimusa bitya eggwanga lyaffe, ebyensimbi mu ggwanga lyaffe bigenda kuyimusibwa bitya ne kye bayita Islamic finance. Okukutegeezaako akatono, Hijaz Finance tusangibwa ku Conrad Plaza Nassar Road wetandikira oba wegattira ne Entebbe Road nga offices zibeera nzigule okuva ku Monday paka olwokutaano ssaawa 2 okutuuka ssaawa 10 n'olwomukaaga okuva ku ssaawa 3 okutuuka ssaawa 7. Tujja kuba twesiimye nnyo okukulaba ng'otukyaliddeko n'okuba nti nno weetegereza biki bye tukola era butya bw'oyinza okubiganyulwamu. Mu studio negattibwako Honorable Aleper Moses akiikiridde ekitundu kya Kyekwi constituency e Karamoja agenda kuba atulambulirira kiki ekituufu ekitundu kye mu bujjuvu kigamba kitya era atutegeeze biki ebigenda maaso mu ggwanga ku byenkulaakulana n'ebya Islamic finance. Honorable, we are happy to see you. And we really want to know, how is the situation? How is Karamoja? How are you?
Yeah, thank you very much, Nadia. Once again, I also want to take this opportunity to greet the viewers this afternoon. As you rightfully said, I represent the people of Kyekwi County, Kadami, in Nakapripri district as a member of parliament. And it's a pleasure being on Salam TV today, this afternoon.
I'm glad to know. So at the moment, the Uganda's economic ground is a really tough place, and we see that the parliament and the people around, they're trying to fight the economic sinking, right? So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, it is a known fact that currently, I think the world over, the economy worldwide is somehow under recession, or it is stagnating, in that it is not growing as expected.
Yeah.
For the obvious reasons. We have just recovered from COVID-19, which affected the world over, because most of the sectors in the world economies had completely gone to a ground halt, and we were just trying to recover from that. Then the Ukraine and Russia war came in, and that affected also the economic activities. And you know very well that most of the countries in the world are dependent on Ukraine for supply of wheat, the rest. So this has bogged down some economic activities, and definitely it has affected supply chains world over.
Yeah.
So we are not able to get as many raw materials for products. So it has definitely increased the cost of doing business. So you remember at the starting of it, the prices of commodities went up because they are driven by fuel prices and then supply, which actually was limited. So that's the situation now. Of course, Uganda is no exception, and you know most of our economy is actually depends on importation from outside, and so it has also affected us. But somehow our economy is resilient in the fact that one, government has managed to control inflation and the stability in the Uganda shilling. If you look at the current performance of the country's inflation, where we used to be at 6 point, it is now at around 5.8. That is the core inflation.
That's quite at least some reduction.
Yeah, because it had peaked to 10%, but now it has reduced to 6.2. That's something good. Even the Uganda shilling is somehow stable to other strong currencies, which is also a big thing. Then, fortunately for us in Uganda, we produce our own food, and normally inflation is driven by the food prices. But because the harvest season is starting now, I'm sure in the next 2 months we shall definitely have stability in the prices, so inflation will be somehow tamed. So that's one advantage we have. But the government is trying as much as possible to boost the economic activity in some of the sectors that are helping this country, especially exportation of coffee, and then the other driver is actually the tourism industry.
Yes.
You know, those are the key.
Yeah, we've seen it go around on Twitter.
Yes.
Yes.
So those are the key sectors that have actually been helping us with foreign exchange, because exportation of those two in those two sectors has been helping us very much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is a lot of fuss about the new bills going on, especially around Islamic finance, obviously, and everyone is wondering, is this really the solution to the sinking economy, or is it just a Muslim thing? Like, what is exactly going on in the Parliament of Uganda?
Yeah, thank you very much, Nadia. You know, currently, what has happened is there is minimal access to finance, to credit.
Yes.
The reason is, it is one of the policies, the monetary policy, which actually Bank of Uganda has done. It increased what they call the CBR, the bank rate, in which it lends money to commercial banks. It increased it to 10%. So that would mean...
Before you go for to a layman, what should a layman understand by the CBR? Yeah,
this is the rate at which Bank of Uganda lends to commercial banks. Okay?
In other words, our viewer, sente banka ya Uganda oba omuwendo banka ya Uganda weewolera banka endala ezitambuza ebyensimbi mu Uganda kyagezaako okutegeeza ne CBR, right?
Yes. So that would mean, you know, it used to be low.
Yes.
Now when it increased, then it will mean the commercial banks will lend money to the people of Uganda at a higher rate, and that's deliberate. It is just intended so that there's little money in supply.
Yes.
Few people can borrow money from the bank. So if it used to be 18, maybe now it's at around 22 to 25%. So it becomes very prohibitive. You can't go and borrow money from the bank because the rate is very high. There's no business that can give you that amount of money. So few people can go and borrow money. It is just deliberate so that little money is in the economy. Yes, so that inflation, the prices of goods and services is maintained at a certain level. Otherwise, if there's a lot of money in circulation, then actually the prices definitely
inflation will have to
rise.
go through.
So it is just a control measure.
Okay.
Yes.
Omulabi waffe owa Salam TV kineno ngenda kiddamu katono eri omulabi waffe atategedde bulungi Honorable Kyayogedde mu lulimi olufuutifuuti nti eno CBR gye tuva okunnyonnyolako gavumenti oba banki ya Uganda kwewolera banka ezitambuza ebyensimbi mu ggwanga buli lwebeera ng'eri waggulu kitegeeza nti no kiba kizibu omuntu okwewola ssente okuva mu banka yonna. Ekintu ekyo kikwata ebyensimbi buli lwe kibeerera ekizibu okwewola ssente kitegeeza ebyensimbi bizibu byakutuukako. Naye ate kiyamba erudda eggwanga okuba nti no emiwendo gy'ebintu tegigenda wala nnyo, tegyeyongera wala nnyo. naye twagala tulabe tukoze tutya okuba nti nno tusobola okufuna looni zino oba okwewola ate era nga n'emiwendo gy'ebintu mu ggwanga tegenze wala nnyo. So, Honourable, I've just talked about how can we ensure that inflation rate is not very high. At the same time, it is a bit easier for people to access credit.
Yeah, actually, one of the problems in this country, one of the problems facing people doing business here is the cost of capital. Cost of capital is the cost of borrowing money which you want to do finance with.
Yes.
Now, since that is an issue, with normally if there are many avenues for borrowing, if there are many people, for example, if there was only one bank that would lend money to many people, they would dictate a rate. The monopoly definitely would be created, and they would dictate the prices that would be charged for the cost of capital. But if there are many financial institutions, then that definitely gives an avenue for you to go and choose where to borrow money. So you'll also find, other than the cost of finance, even the terms for borrowing the money will also definitely differ from one institution to the other. So when there are many, wherever there's competition, normally,
yes,
competition offers quality. You know, some people would give better services, better terms, and etc. So that actually gives an avenue.
Every stakeholder to improve their services.
Yeah, their services.
Yeah.
So that is one advantage that the increase in the borrowing or in credit financing space can help. Now, we are talking about Islamic financing.
Yes.
Yeah. So Islamic financing involves actually Islamic financing, financial services operated under the law of Sharia. You know better than me.
Exactly.
I'm a Christian. So what it definitely means that there is now a new product in credit financing.
Yes. Called
Islamic banking, where they offer Islamic financial services and what you call takaful, which is insurance, and Islamic financing.
I see you're about to become a Muslim.
Yes, I think soon I'll be linguistically. Okay. Yeah, so what are we saying now? When this new product comes, then there are more products definitely in the market, which actually an average person doing business can have access to. So this increases an avenue for borrowers, for businesses, and that sort of thing. And it comes with its terms. I'm sure you know very well, as someone who deals in that, that the terms are very, very, very friendly. Of course, they don't require so many things like security, etc.
Yes.
Normally, with the person you borrow, the institution that you borrow money from, you form like a partnership, such that even at the time of making profit, you share. At the time of making a loss, you also share. Yeah, so this offers definitely a new avenue for credit financing in this country.
Exactly, because apparently when you look at products that now institutions like Hijaz Finance is providing under maybe the contract of Murabaha, where we expect profit on credit. So you see that the terms are a little friendly. Okay, I'll actually say more friendly, way more friendly than normal credit providing conventional banks. And it is also a way that both the institution and the person at the end of the day benefits. I'm really glad that you're doing this, you're taking the fight further. And I would love to understand, with this financial inclusion that you're fighting for, what does the parliament really understand by Islamic finance?
Yeah, way back in 2016, there was a push to bring this particular product of Islamic financing into Uganda.
Yes.
And a law was passed that time. But, and also regulations were instituted, but unfortunately it had not taken place because the law that was passed actually had certain bottlenecks. Particularly, I can say there was a Central Sharia Advisory Council which was supposed to sit in Bank of Uganda. It became increasingly difficult to have it operationalized. So it took time to license a financial institution or Islamic financial institution. It also took it made it difficult to finance any financial institution that wants to offer Islamic financing window. So because of that advisory council, it will not be established. The reason was, other than the stringent qualifications for members into that thing, which qualifications wouldn't, there are actually few people who would actually have that qualification.
Yeah.
Two, there was another provision under microfinance depositing institutions, tier 3 financial institutions, which provided for a similar body. Now there would actually be as a duplication in regulation, because even the other one was supposed to regulate, then this one also had microfinance. So it became difficult to operationalize it. So that's why there was need now to amend that law, so that we can operationalize this and we bring Islamic financing in place. So that's why we called for amendment of the law, which law was passed recently. So there are about 5 aspects of the law which were passed.
Okay.
Now, the reason for actually passing this, for amending the law, was one, to make sure that Islamic financial products are brought into the tax regime, so that taxation also takes care of Islamic financial products, because they would be operating and the government will not be able to tax them. And yet really any business that is carried out in the country is liable to tax. So that was one reason, and of course the other one was because of the other bottleneck of operationalizing and licensing institution, because of the advisory council. So we wanted to repeal that law, to remove the provision for Central Sharia Advisory Council. So recently government of Uganda, the Parliament of Uganda passed it. So one, they have removed that aspect of Central Sharia Advisory Council sitting at the Bank of Uganda, but every financial institution that operates Islamic financing shall have a central advisory board, which the board of the bank can appoint, and then that one will be able to advise and review how the Islamic financing is operating in that institution. So that one has been dealt away with. So now we can now have institutions to be licensed, and Islamic financing will be rolled on. That was to operationalize it. Now with the laws, which I told you about taxation, we wanted to make sure that there's taxation provision on excise duty, like for example, periodic charges like ledger fees.
Yes.
In the normal conventional banking, it is provided in the law. So we wanted also such a thing to be provided in Islamic financing. Then two, on income tax, we also wanted to define certain aspects. You know, Islamic financing doesn't have issues, things like interest.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we are told it is something called, is it a riba or something, which is which actually
the Arabic word.
which Islamic law, Islamic religion doesn't abhors.
Yeah.
So we wanted to redefine interest. We want to redefine issues like partnerships, because Islamic financing deals on partnerships. So we wanted to redefine those things. Then things like value-added tax. There are some Islamic financing products which will definitely be subject to VAT. So we wanted to put it into place. Even stamp duty, we wanted to take care of that. And then yeah, those are the ones that we wanted really to make sure that they are covered under taxation. So that's why the law was amended, and it has been amended. We're only waiting for assent, and then it is
quite a journey that you've moved, and I'm really excited, especially for these institutions now, like Hijaz. Apparently it has been operating at a SACCO level, but I'm sure it is now given chance to go further. The Honorable has commented about the different aspects that have been revised, and to the person who doesn't get English very well, omuntu yenna essaawa eno asobola okuba nti nno asuubira banka ye ebaddewo nga teyinaamu nkola ya busiraamu, okuba nti nno ekiteekawo, kitegeeza nti nno omusiraamu yenna n'atali musiraamu naye nga yandyagadde okweyunira engeri ebyensimbi mu busiraamu ebitambuzibwa, asobola okuba nga akisuubira okukisanga mu banka yonna okusinziira ku mateeka agateereddwa. Kkiriza tugende mu kuwummulako tukomewo.
Eno ye Salam TV.
crosses are going to consistently be floated in, and they yield twice to the good. Saidi Mayanja will make sure they are taking out the trash and driving their way to the title. The nightmare is befalling Sports Club Villa. The dream is being lived here to oblivion for KCC Football Club.
Brought to you by MTN, the official broadcast sponsor.
Hey, wanna race? You wish.
La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah.
Muslim Funeral Services bategeeza abasiraamu mwenna nti bateekateeka abafu baffe ne baziikibwa mu kitiibwa ne bw'abanga waakusulawo nnaku bamukusuliza gw'alina omuntu afiiridde wabweru w'eggwanga bakkulira ku nteekateeka n'akomezebwawo wano mu Uganda era n'aziikibwa nga sheriya y'obusiraamu bw'eragira. Balina ne funeral insurance eri omuntu ssekinnoomu famire n'ebitongole ng'osasulayo akasente katono ddala. Basangibwa Mulago ku roundabout okuliraana City Mortuary nga balina ne ambulance ezikola essaawa 24 mu bitundu by'e Kampala n'eby'Entebbe. Bwe bakubire bukubizi essimu bakutuukeko wonna w'oba oli mu bwangu ddala ku 0701 841 52 56 oba 0774 000 225. Ziika omwagalwawo mu nziika emuweesa ekitiibwa ne Muslim Funeral Services.
Better steady, be better.
Bakasitoma beffe balayi Equity kiri kukubira ku essimu kukusaba epini yo aba ku password yo kandome password yo aba epini yo ikuyeda kubona biwambagana ni account yo ye bank okagaba namuno yesizana biwambagana ni account yo kandome inga details zo ziwambagana ku account yo inamba yesizana ikukubira kankusomera namba yefe ya Equity Bank iri noti zidatu yonyene zibiri zidatu zibiri musanvu noti inga Equity Bank kukusaba kuba steady be better.
Better steady, be better. In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission, Bank of Uganda, Equity Bank, MTN Uganda, United Media, Stanbic Bank, MTN Momo, and Uganda Bankers Association.
Musanvu ku 10 kuffe tufiiriddwa ensimbi nnyingi abafeereze batubbyeko so nga twandizikozesezza okusasula ez'obupangisa okwongera mu bizinesi okusasula fees n'ebirala. Beera steady ng'okuuma ebibyo era beera bulindaala ng'okozesa enkola y'okusasulira ku mitimbagano. Ennamba ye ya pini gikuume bulungi era togigaba. Kwata ennamba za kampuni y'amasimu entongole zokka.
Better steady, be better. In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission, Bank of Uganda, Equity Bank, MTN Uganda, United Media, Stanbic Bank, MTN Momo, and Uganda Bankers Association.
Eno ye Salam TV.
Elaborate more. Okay. I would like first to really emphasize on.
Tusanyuse okuddamu okuba nti nno otweyungako omulabi waffe owa Salam TV nga tweyongerayo n'emboozi yaffe twagala tumanye amateeka gano eno ge bakyusakyusa essaawa eno agaleese ebigambo mu amatu buli omu ayagala kumanya kiki ekigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga. Amateeka ganene enkyukakyuka yaago egenda kuyamba otya omuntu wa wansi onoyebwa waffe ava mu kitundu kyekwi. Twagala tumanye omuntu we ekyekwi agenda kuganyulwa atya mu mateeka gano. So Honourable, we are wondering, with all these amendments that have, been put in place and are heading to be maybe passed for approval at the end of the day, what is it, how beneficial is it to the person in Chekwi constituency?
Yeah, thank you very much. Maybe just before I get to that, let me just quickly run through about on the advisory council.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that there was a contradiction in the operation of the Central Advisory Council, the Sharia, Central Sharia Advisory Council, sitting in the Bank of Uganda. You know, Bank of Uganda is the only institution that is mandated to regulate the banking or the financial institution operations. So bringing it would definitely undermine and somehow create a bit of friction on the independence of the operation, because what the Bank of Uganda is the apex that will oversee everything. So there is need just to have these advisory boards at the financial institution level. Why? Because that's the level where they develop products and where these products are approved. So these advisory boards can do it at the financial institution level. And this is where the Islamic function will be operationalized. So it is just okay to have them at the financial institutions or what we can call the banks, and then Bank of Uganda will just be regulating how it operates.
Okay, so the Bank of Uganda at the end of the day is just to see the reports of the boards.
Yes, on how these financial institutions are doing. Are they operating very well according to the Sharia law? Yes, according to the way it is agreed by in the finance in the banking industry. So that's why these things are right to sit only at the financial institutions and not at the Bank of Uganda.
But then when you talk like that, at the end of the day you realize that even these banks may need the Islamic financial products from the Bank of Uganda, because if now an institution like Hijaz Finance is trying to get credit obviously from the bank, it will need for it to be Islamic. How are they hoping to implement that?
You see, what I'm saying is the type of business you want to do should be developed by you, the business person. So for this matter, it is the banks or what we call the financial institutions that should develop products that they think are okay. And they can be approved by these boards. Then relate to Bank of Uganda, and Bank of Uganda says it is fine, it can operate in this industry, it cannot destabilize the way the industry is functioning and the economy is functioning. So then it can definitely regulate. You know, you can't approve something, then you also regulate it. Exactly. So that's why it should be the institutions to do it, and then Bank of Uganda just oversees and regulates the thing. So it is just okay to develop those products. Like for example, Hijaz can develop its own product, the one that says it can be good, so that you have a niche in that. Then the regulator will see, for your case, it will be Humra.
Yes, the
Microfinance Regulatory Authority, to see that it is okay, that product is fine, you carry on with it. By then your board will have approved it because it finds it is acceptable. Then just Umrah will say, I think that is okay. We shall see how you'll be operating. It doesn't create distortions in the industry, doesn't create distortion in that particular tire, doesn't cause distortions in the economy. And say then it will just be checking periodically. So it is just okay to have them down there.
Okay.
Now on the question you said, how will this type of product help people in Chekwi?
Exactly.
Actually in Chekwi, in Nakapiripirit, in Karamoja, and also Uganda.
Yes.
You know, like I said earlier on, one of the limitations to doing business in Uganda is limited access to finance. Now, someone in my village in Chekwi, the properties that we have are not even registered. Like the land we have there, it is customarily owned. It doesn't have land title. If you go to a conventional bank, you cannot be able to get a loan facility because the land is not registered and that sort of thing. So there will be a lot of rigor checking this and that sort of thing. And by the time maybe the loan is approved, maybe even the business idea has been taken over by someone else. So this type of financing definitely is a bit, to me, I look at it as an easy one for an average person, like in such a place. It's just bring the idea to a financial institution that does Islamic banking. You say, I want to do this, then they partner with you and they give you finance. So that one is to credit financing for a person in a rural setting. So it is something that can suit very well in Uganda. And of course, we are talking about, we want really, like, you know, the main theme of this market is they want monetize, I mean, of this budget this year is the full monetization of the economy of the country. So in order to bring as many people as possible, this type of financing is the one which is all inclusive. It can go as far as possible, so that is deepen the financial inclusion in this country.
Because you realize that generally not very many Ugandans are in the banking, are utilizing the banking products. And well, it does not make a lot of sense because they cannot even fulfill the requirements, as you have said. And at the end of the day, they don't have much to talk with the banks. So if now, for example, even the Muslims had been a bit biased, you find that you know, a strong Muslim may say that, okay, I'll do my business. I may not involve so much with the bank, especially when it comes to the credit section. And now the financial inclusion that is expected to take place.
It's definitely.
Oh God.
And I wanted also just to say that, you know, this Islamic financing is all inclusive.
Yes.
It is for me, Moses, who is a Christian. It can be for a Seventh-day Adventist. It can also be done by a Muslim. It can also be done by a Christian, by any person. So I thought that should be brought out to the people so that some people don't think that is something a bit religious. No.
Actually, I wanted you to make more clarification because you see, most of the parliamentarians are non-Muslims.
Yes.
And some people out there think that this is a Muslim thing that has come maybe to make the whole nation a Muslim nation. But as you've said, this is not only for Muslims. This can help both a Muslim and a non-Muslim, as long as the business you're getting into does not fight with the Islamic principles. Then, and of which the majority of the economy is run by, you know, activities that are not what we call haram or illegal in the Muslim environment. So we really expect a lot from you know, the policymakers. We do appreciate the movement that has been taken, and yeah, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
We want to know something else that is very key: the implementation of these policies. How is it expected? Because some of the fear that is out there is on how exactly are these conventional banks going to implement the new, you know, policies for Islamic finance, and give us an example. What do you think the competition and the competition status of the banking sector is going to look like?
Yeah, in fact, this is how Islamic financing or banking is going to operate. One, it can operate with an establishment of an Islamic financial institution. This will be an institution which will majorly be carrying out Islamic financing. That's one way, one model. Then the other model is any financial institution, any bank, whether Tier 4, whether Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1, can carry out a window of Islamic financing, just that product. Okay. So first of all, everyone, any bank that is interested can carry it out. Okay, and offer it as a product among other products that it has. So it is possible to do it with anybody. What only is required is they are already licensed, but they need to get license to operate Islamic financing window. That is Islamic finance business. But also there are some people, I'm sure, foreigners, who will come and want to establish Islamic financial institution that is carrying out Islamic financing. And you know, Islamic financing is operated under the Sharia law.
Yes.
Okay, that's the Sharia law principles. But you know, when you look at the don'ts also in Islamic financing, it is almost the same.
Yes.
Even in the other conventional or secular banking industry. So it is just going to complement each other. But I want to say that we have taken care of distortions that can arise. You know, people might think that everyone might rush for Islamic financing or Islamic banking and leave the other one. There is a way it has been factored in such that it doesn't distort, you know, the market, okay? Yeah. Such that maybe the other business will completely. So when
that was the biggest fear, especially with the conventional sector.
Yes, with the conventional bank. No, that distortions in the market will be taken care of. So in other words, when money is lent to you through Islamic financing, there is just some markup that is taken care of, which is factored in there.
Yes.
Okay, but that markup cannot completely create a tilt in the market. Those things are all because first of all, arrangement fees, the fees that can come, the periodic fees will almost be the same. So it has been factored in such that it doesn't distort the market. Okay. So don't think everything now will flow this way. The other one will also be done. But I think also one good thing is this can, you know, when a new product comes, it shakes the environment.
Exactly.
And it might shake the environment for the better.
Okay. Yes, and you've talked about the shaking of the environment, and I've remembered Twitter has been on fire, and actually still is on fire. What is this that is going on? How is it going to be helpful? And you know, it is seen as Islamic finance is going to break down the conventional financing, which is not the case, as you've obviously explained.
Yes.
And I wonder on implementation, how is it going to be for the different businesses, and in terms of the economic development? How does the nation expect to benefit at a large scale, obviously, at the end of the day? Do we see investors come through the Islamic financial sector? Do we see what is the expectation of, you know, the government?
Yeah, globally, in terms of the Ugandan economy, global Ugandan economy, these are some of the things that are expected.
Okay.
There will be increase in credit financing space. There will be more people who will finance credit, okay?
Yeah.
Now, and by the way, the movement in funding under Islamic funding is expected to be huge, okay? So for example, if the current conventional banking has been offering maybe certain amount of money, so there will be some amounts of money that will come in and increase the credit financing space. That's one advantage, which people really need to do business. Two, the people who will come and invest here under establishing Islamic financial institutions, those real banks which will carry this, will definitely bring in capital and inject into the economy. So there will be foreign direct investment. So there will be foreign exchange that will come into this country, and there will also be increased foreign exchange dealings in the country. Okay? So that's one. Then of course, with such increased foreign domestic investment and increased financing, increased business, definitely there will be increased employment also in the country. And those are things that will definitely help the economy. But I also expect that much as there will be no distortion so much in the banking sector in terms of the operations, I also expect some better cost of capital changes to arise. Possibly the cost of capital will somehow reduce with the time.
Yes.
With the time, though not in the very, very short term. So those are the expectations, which will definitely focus and increase definitely production in the country, and eventually increase in economic development, the GDP of the country.
I
So
see.
that will definitely factor in.
I see there is quite a lot of opportunities here because universities had also put up programs like Islamic finance as courses, and people who have graduated recently have been obviously asking where we're going to work from, and now there is quite a very big room for employment. And okay, that is so beautiful. Now you see, for every good that comes, we expect challenges, obviously. What are those challenges that are expected, and how do we expect to deal with them as a country?
Yeah, one obvious challenge, of course, is the fear for the unknown. That's what is actually going on now.
Yes.
People are saying, what's this animal called Islamic finance? Is it trying to cause certain things in their country and that sort of thing? So there's, first of all, that fear, the challenge. So we definitely have to do a lot of sensitization to make sure we overcome that. That is one of the things. Then also, when a new thing comes, making it, operationalizing it is not easy.
Yes.
I'm sure we shall meet maybe some operational challenges. First of all, within the sector itself, the institutions may not really take off the way they expect. I'm sure there will be some institutional operational challenges that will come with this new product into the economy. So those are the challenges. Of course, the threats or the risks in the banking sector will be increased. The more players there, the more increased risk.
Exactly.
So those are the things that will come up with it.
And what measures are we putting up? Do we see the government putting up scholarships for people to learn more, especially when it comes to courses around Islamic finance? Do we expect to see, the leaders on ground telling people what exactly is going on? Because now sometimes the budgets and the policies are passed, the budget is read, and trust me, even after maybe a show like this, someone may not really understand what it actually means and how it can actually be used in their day-to-day lives.
Yeah, actually one of the challenges, of course, I should have mentioned is the limited capacity in terms of human capital to handle this thing. It's just a new thing.
Yes.
There are a few people who have trained, like I gave you the other aspect of, if you saw the conditions for people to qualify to be a member of the advisory council, it was very, you need to have been very schooled, have a PhD in Sharia Islamic financing.
And then with experience.
You must have also experience in the financial sector, financial services.
Yes.
Then you should be someone of good standing. Okay?
How many do we have in the country?
So now then the fourth one. So what am I saying? Right now we have, of course, limited human capacity, human capital capacity. So we need definitely to train. So those are the new dynamics that will come. What has happened right now in this country? All financial institutions that are looking at this particular new product have started sending their staff for training.
Oh.
Even the central bank itself has some staff that are trained. Even these other banks.
That is quite interesting.
Yeah, so they have all prepared themselves for this, and definitely government, since it's the one that manages the economy, it is the major all-round supervisor.
Yeah.
What will happen definitely, even its staffing for those that will regulate, that will make policies, that will legislate on this, have to be trained. So we are preparing definitely for this. So that's also a window or an opportunity for some of the training institutions like universities that they will be actually input in terms of people to be trained in that thing. So
so there is quite a lot of preparation, I see, and there is a lot of interesting work.
Yes.
Well done, Honorable. I'm so privileged to have you here today. And the session has been a very wonderful session. I hope the viewer out there, you take into consideration what exactly does Islamic finance mean and how can it actually help you as a person, because at the end of the day we are doing this for you and the nation. Omulabi waffe atulaba twogedde bingi ku byensimbi ddala mu busiraamu n'amateeka agagenda mu maaso mu ggwanga, naye tusembyeyo nga tugamba nti tegeera funa okumanya ku bintu ebyenjawulo ebikwatagana ku nkola y'ebyensimbi mu ggwanga ddala nga etambula n'emitendera oba enkola y'obusiraamu. Honorable atugambye bingi ku amateeka amapya agali mu kutereezebwa gasobola okuba nti nno gakkiriza enkola y'ebyensimbi eramura obusiraamu okuba nti nno buli omu asobola okugifunamu okuviira ddala waggulu ku gavumenti okutuukira ddala wansi ku muntu asembayo. Ali eyo Chekwi okuva Honorable waffe gy'ava era n'abantu ab'enjawulo. Twebazizza nnyo abatulaba, tubeebaliza ddala. Twebaza n'omukulu gwe tutambudde naye Honorable Aleper Moses. Tusaba Allah tusaasire abeere nti nno atuwa okutegeera ebintu bino eno, atuwa okuba nno tukola ebituufu. Tuviiridde ku Hijaz Finance, ekitongole ekitambuza ebyensimbi mu ggwanga nga kikosa embeera y'obusiraamu, ennamula y'obusiraamu mu byensimbi. Sigadde nze Nanteza Nadia Malka omuweerezaawo.
Eno ye Salam TV.
Esitudde, be better.
Bakasitoma beffe balayi, Equity kiri kukubira ku essimu kukusaba epini yo aba ku password yo kandome password yo aba epini yo ikuyeda kubona biwambagana ni account yo ye bank okagaba na muti yesizana biwambagana ni account yo kandome ingadito zo ziwambagana ku account yo inamba yosizana ikukubira kankusomera namba yefe ya Equity bank iri noti zidatu yonyene zibiri zidatu zibiri musanvu noti inga Equity bank kukusaba kuba steady be better.
Esitudde, be better. In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission, Bank of Uganda, Equity Bank, MTN Uganda, United Media, Stambik Bank, MTN Momo, and Uganda Bankers Association.
Musanvu ku 10 kuffe tufiiriddwa ensimbi nnyingi abafeereze batubbyeko, so nga twandizikozesezza okusasula ez'obupangisa, okwongera mu bizinesi, okusasula fees n'ebirala. Beera steady ng'okuuma ebibyo era beera bulindaala ng'okozesa enkola y'okusasulira ku mitimbagano. Ennamba ye ya ppini gikuume bulungi era togigaba. Kwata ennamba za kampuni y'amasimu entongole zokka.
Esitudde, be better. In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission, Bank of Uganda, Equity Bank, MTN Uganda, United Media, Stambik Bank, MTN Momo, and Uganda Bankers Association.
Babu Enterprises Limited. Oli musuubuzi oba ozimba kasiisirako. Balina Goodwill Tiles ku bbeeyi ya fakitole. Ubekkolero ebyamazinga pipes, taps, engogo, ebizimbisibwa byonna biweetaaga. Yooyoote enjuuyo mwatto. Balina sink, tanka z'amazzi, saako